All right, y'all. Today we're taking a look at this boudoir photography business. Gonna see for its local search and for its city search, see if it's got a BSS. So we're out here in the GBC universe where we're taking declining boudoir photographers to the #1 boudoir photographer in their city. As always, our North Star is FSIC, full spectrum intent capture. More on that pinned video, pinned post, home video, somewhere around here. And that's because FSIC explains why all boudoir photographers either rise or fall. So we got our, on the left side, well, we got our graph here, our FSIC graph in white. On the left side, we got our highest intent peeps. They're looking for boudoir photographers right now, or boudoir photo shoot in their city right now. Highest intent peeps, highest converting, closest to the money. This is the people we focus on reaching here when we make videos about BSS. Way over on the right, the lowest intent peeps, people not searching for boudoir right now. Most of them don't even have any idea what the heck boudoir even is. So talk about some stuff related to reaching those people on our sister brand, Boudoir FB Ad Doctor. So we talk about BLCS, and currently over there, we're only working with boudoir photographers running more than 10 grand per month in boudoir Facebook ads. So boudoir search sameness, that is BSS. So a boudoir photographer has either 0 or 1 slots on page 1 of Google. So 0 slots, extra bad, because that means we're on page 2 or deeper of Google. And we already know that approximately 80% of Google searches never even hit page 2. So we're invisible to approximately 80% of searches, approximately 80% of the market if we're page 2 or deeper. So, our business is on a fast track to death in that case. And 1 slot on page good, that ain't good either. Because if we got 1 slot, well, there's 10 organic slots there. If we got 1 slot, that means there's 10 other businesses, or 9 other businesses there, boudoir photographers. And everyone most likely has 1 link. And so, as a result, we look the same as everyone else. We don't stand out. We're not looking amazing. Our 1 slot same as everyone else. So what's a buyer going to do? Well, approximately 80% of the buyers, they're just going to click down, open every link page 1, never even go to page 2, but open every link page 1 and actually fill out every contact form, get a quote from everyone, compare, price shop, negotiate, get the most for the least, waste time, and there's going to be like 10% or less of our contact form fill outs are actually going to result in buyers. Now, 0-1 slots on page 1 Google is actually not normal. It's actually a symptom of 2 deeper root causes. And those 2 deeper root causes are market saturation, which nearly everyone knows about, and also this new one, the false belief of page 1 equality. So yeah, market saturation, more peeps, become boudoir photographers. Seems like every week, it's kind of people naturally upgrade their gear, get new iPhones, get new camera gear, and peeps, throw up their Google My Business profile saying they're boudoir photographer now. They have their website saying they do boudoir photography. They post in the mom groups on Facebook more, saying they offer boudoir photo shoots. So market saturation, then the false belief of page 1 equality. This has kind of been something boudoir photographers have accepted, where it's kind of like people auto believe that every boudoir photographer gets either 0 or 1 slots on page 1 of Google, when it's not. That's not true at all. What is actually true is Google will give us as many page 1 slots as normal, or as many page 1 slots as we want to put in the effort to acquire. So kind of the old school thinking, default original thinking, boudoir photographers they got their website ranked, page 1 slot 8. So market saturation more, boudoir photographers come in, their website ranks above theirs. And as a result, they're pushed down to slot 2, page 2, slot 1. So they're sitting there like, man, I hope those people delete their websites and Google de-indexes them so Google can bring me back up on a page 1. But no, dude, that's sit and wait approach, and that's not how Google wants us. That's not how Google will reward us. Google will reward us by actually going, taking as many slots as we want. And I know this because I went from 0 out of 10 slots page 1 on Google to 9 out of 10 slots page 1 on Google in only 10 days with this new methodology we discovered. Next, a boudoir photographer with BSS boudoir search sameness is a disappearing boudoir photographer, a DBP. So, disappearing because if you got 0 slots page 1, you're page 2 or deeper, invisible to approximately 80% of the market, yeah, you're disappearing. If you've got only 1 slot page 1 Google, you look same as everyone else, you're still essentially invisible. So yeah, you're disappearing. In both these cases, being a bit disappearing boudoir photographer means it's kind of like a warning light, a flashing light, the canary in the coal mine that actually our boudoir photography business is now on the path to disappearing as well. But thankfully, we now have a solution. We have discovered that BSS is treated with social search saturation, aka our S-cubed methodology. And the way it works, it's right in the name, social search saturation. We saturate social search with the highest intent boudoir buyer keywords in our city, making sure we show up there. And this is like the snow at the top of a mountain. Think of the Andes Mountains down in South America, the snow up there on the eastern side, the backside of those mountains. What actually happens is that, the snow is always melting, it's always snow in there and melting. So the water flows into small streams, small rivers, and eventually all that water collects into the Amazon River. That Amazon River, that's page one Google search. And that means everything starts, everything begins with, getting the snow up to the top of the mountain, and then everything melts from there. And so getting up snow up there, that's SQ methodology to get that snow all the way up there. And this is the only solution I've seen with boudoir photographers that can actually enable them to compete and still grow in a market that's getting more and more saturated over time and do it in a relatively quick time frame. On the other hand, the other option is having a large, well-known brand, but dude, that takes 5 to 10 years. We ain't got that time anymore. AI is taking people's jobs already. We don't have the time to wait 5 to 10 years to build a massive, large brand. But interestingly enough, my estimates actually, if one is using SQ methodology, my estimate is it can actually build a large, well-known brand at approximately 8x the speed is like, normal traditional methods, simply because we're on so many different surfaces, so much more volume, much higher frequency. And so an example here of SQ methodology, we are now going to go to Raleigh, North Carolina. All right, so let's say we got 1 million boudoir photographers in Raleigh, North Carolina. We're one of them. Everyone's got their website saying they boudoir photographer, shoot boudoir photography, blah, blah, blah. Everyone's competing for the hyper competitive page one slots on Google with their website. And we're like, man, we ain't got a large, well-known brand. Literally, the only chance we got to compete is implementing S-cube methodology. So, let's say we take it all the way to the max, where we're, we take literally like the first 300 slots for the highest intent boudoir buyer keywords in our city across all social search. And then let's say that all flows to Google page one search, and we're taking first 300 slots Google search as well. And it's 10 organic slots per page one on Google. So, we're taking out the first 30 pages. So whenever a boudoir buyer looks for a boudoir photographer in our city, a boudoir photo shoot, whatever, they actually, we're basically the only one they can find. So if we're basically the only one people can find, obviously our business is probably going to be the only one growing, and then the competing 999,999 other boudoir photographers, their business will probably be shrinking, and so this is kind of the extreme case of what SQ methodology can actually enable or give a chance to a boudoir photography business to achieve. Now, once you're with SQ methodology, we now have page one visibility. So yeah, we're getting more slots page one Google search, but also for each new slot we're kicking a competing boudoir photographer off page one, effectively making them visible. A lot of boudoir photographers like this one because they can actually choose how many of their competitors to kick off, basically based on their own effort. Put them on page two or deeper, and we already know approximately 80% of Google searches never even hit page two. So put their competitor businesses on the path to becoming disappearing competitor boudoir photography businesses. And page one visibility activates boudoir search visibility for us, BSV. This is where the GBC universe recommends hitting a minimum or having a minimum of 3 out of 10 slots page one Google search. It's because everyone else is probably going to have one. So, okay, our 3 is always going to dominate. Everyone else has got one each, one link each. And our, the super rare chance someone has 2 slots, well, our 3 slots dominates them as well. Finally, Boudoir photographer with BSV. Boudoir search visibility is a visible Boudoir photographer. So we got our micro universe here. A disappearing Boudoir photographer with Boudoir search sameness is caused by the dual horns of market saturation and the false belief of page 1 equality. That's fine. Thankfully, we now have a solution, S cubed methodology. We achieve page 1 visibility. We become visible Boudoir photographer with Boudoir search visibility. All right, on to my results here. I wanted to rank and dominate for this keyword BLCS Boudoir. So I use S cubed methodology to do it. Let's see the results. So organic slot 1, Instagram, me. Slot 2, me. Slot 3, me. Slot 4, me. Slot 5, me. Slot 6, me. Slot 7, me. Slot 8, me. Slot 10, me. And so I'm from 0 out of 10 slots, page 1 Google search, to 9 out of 10 slots, page 1 Google search in only 10 days, purely utilizing S cubed methodology. All right, main event here. You can see this Boudoir photography business. Check its local search, check its city search. Go to Ankeny and Des Moines, Iowa. Ankeny and Des Moines, Iowa, let's see. All right, boom. All right, let's see what we got here. Boom, we got 1. Boom, we got 2. Get rid of that. All right, so we only got, well, we got 2, so that's no BSS. We're not hitting the GBC recommended minimum, 3 out of 10 slots, page 1 Google search. All right, so we got 2. 2 for local. Let's check city. Boom, we got 1. It's nice too, first lot. And all right, we got 1. We got 1 out of 10. All right, so local, we got 2 out of 10. So we don't have BSS, but we did not reach the GBC recommended minimum, 3 out of 10 slots, page 1 Google search. City, we got 1 out of 10, so we do have BSS, and we also did not reach the GBC recommended minimum, 3 out of 10 slots, page 1 of Google search. So if you're a disappearing boudoir photographer, you've done a local search for the highest intent keywords for buyers in your city, in your local area and your city, and you're seeing you've got boudoir search sameness, either 0 or 1 slots on page 1. You're not hitting the GBC minimum on page 2. And you understand, you kind of broken through the brain barrier that, yeah, page 1 equality, that's a false belief, and we can actually take as many page 1 slots as we want. And you've also seen market saturation. Yeah, more people getting more iPhones, new iPhones, get new cameras who come with boudoir photographers. But you also see AI going to be taking more and more people's jobs, leading into way more boudoir photographers coming into the market. And you're saying, oh man, got to prepare for this big supply side shock that's coming. And we can do that by, and you're saying, oh, S cubed methodology, perfect. That's perfect for that. It allows us to saturate social search, which then allows, as a result, allows us to saturate page 1 Google search for the highest intent keywords. So basically anywhere any buyer searches, we are dominating kind of the attention space there. And so you're seeing S cubed methodology. You want to achieve page 1 visibility, become a visible boudoir photographer, achieve boudoir search visibility. You want to hit the GBC minimum of 3 out of 10 on all of the, on all of the local search and city search. And so you're seeing S cubed methodology is what you want to utilize. And you're also seeing kind of the extra bonuses on the back end. Kind of more thematic keyword columns that we create that we use S cubed methodology around the highest intent keywords, then the higher the probability that we get ranked here for AI overview for local search and city search, kind of as the only featured prominent one, because this is pulling from, thematic um, keyword kind of repetition, authority, age. So higher chance of achieving that with SQG methodology kind of as a back-end bonus, and higher chance of showing up in AI search. I actually have an AI search on the back-end ChatGPT, Microsoft Copilot, Google Gemini, Claude, Perplexity. Because I remember last time I checked for boudoir photographers in the city, dude, it only brought up 3. So if we get our kind of our thematic keyword columns created attached to our brand, then a higher chance we show up in Google, all these AI searches. And as a result, kind of some back-end bonus. Also, the more we do S-cubed methodology, kind of more momentum we build up against anyone else, any other boudoir photographers competing against us in our current city. So my plan right now is to only work with one boudoir photographer per city. So we can build up all that distance, all that momentum, all these front end benefits, obviously, saturating social search and Google page 1 search, kicking other boudoir photographers off. Also the back end momentum, higher recommendations, AI overview, Google search, and AI, all the different AI searches in general. And as a result, you're saying, hey, probably should be a first mover on this because someone else is a first mover in our city, then, and since my plan is to work with only one person per city on this at a time, then if you weren't working with me, you have to rederive S-cubed methodology on your own, kind of our proprietary method. And then even when you don't know if you're doing it exactly right, or exactly as we've derived it, then you have to equal our execution to maintain the gap between your competitor and your competitor who I could be working with. And you'd actually have to double or triple our capacity to kind of make up all the momentum we would have already achieved. And so you're like, all right, it's better to simply, be first mover on this, get prepared for AI, to force some more boudoir photographers into the market. And so you're like, all right, SQ methodology is what I need. I'm ready to go now. So if that's you, shoot me a DM when my DM's open. I'm currently not open for new patient intake, but I will let you know when I am. The hospital's not currently open for new patient intake, but when I do open the hospital, keep watching these videos. That'll tell you actually when the hospital's open. Shoot us a DM and we'll see if you qualify for S-cubed methodology.